All right, welcome, beautiful people. This is going to be like a road trip friendly series, given the fact that I'm just getting off a hot 10 and a half hours in the car with my three children, all of my camping supplies, and a dog. It's like literally today had no place to even put my feet. Like I sat cross-legged and with my feet on the dashboard for all of that time. So I am definitely ready to move and stretch in a gentle way. And they'll be a bit more standing than in some of our other practices, but it's always fun to like try out poses in new ways and explore them in your body. And then you always have more options when you're doing your thing, right? So let's begin off by coming to a comfortable seated position. And let's take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth with those like horse or donkey lips. So big breath in and out through the mouth. You're just kind of like let everything like blah, 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 all the way down. So and one more. Feel the shoulders melting down the back body, the sits bones connecting to the earth beneath you. And on the next inhale, feel that lift and lengthen to the crown of the head. And if and when you're ready, you can soften the eyelids or close them all the way. And just bring your awareness to the breath in through the nose and out through the nose. A few more breaths of just settling in, checking in with where you're starting your practice from today. You've been caught up in the whirlwind of the road of life. Let each exhale bring you a little bit more peace, a little bit more calm as you release any of that hectic energy from the day. Being fully committed to being present here and in the moment for your practice. Remembering that this is a safe space for sighs, moans, groans, and anything that I offer you in this space is optional. This is your practice, and you are free to make it your own, however that might look for you, however that might feel for you. Committing to following that thread of joy, that thread of connection to self, and being present with each moment with the breath, with that inhale deep into the nose, and then exhaling nice and slow until that exhale is twice as long as the inhale. Taking a few more of those deep breaths, with the focus being on slowing down that exhale, turning off that state of fight or flight and sliding right into that rest and relaxation, letting your brain know that you are in a super safe space. Three more of those nice long exhales. And whether you're home or traveling right now, just finding yourself in the safety of this moment. Acknowledging that can be hard at times when you're not in your own home, when a guest or on the road. Take one last opportunity here with the eyes softened or closed to bring a hand to the belly and a hand to the heart. Once again, just check in. A few intentional moments of breath work, meditation, and committing to yourself and your practice can offer you. Acknowledging that these are tools that you have everywhere you go, in any situation. And then inhale to allow the eyelids to flutter back open, returning back to the space together. Hands can come to rest comfortably on the thighs and just begin to make some nose circles here. So it's like if there's like a paintbrush on the end of your nose and you're painting some circles. And let's do some small circles to start. Get any like sticking points, something that's like really talking to you, you really feel it, feel free to rock back and forth in that area, working out those tight areas by bringing your inhale to that space and using the exhale to soften, letting those circles get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And then when you're ready, reverse, starting big, going in the opposite direction. Seeing if you can sync that breath of inhale to come up and over, and exhale to tuck that chin into the chest. Big deep breaths. And then the next time that chin comes to chest, inhale. Rotate the ear towards the shoulder. And these, neck stretches are just sweet little ditties that you can even do in the car. So inhale, chin to chest, and exhale to the other side. Just finding a nice little flow here. Linking breath to movement. Bringing that consciousness inward with each breath. Evening out on both sides here. And then the next time that chin comes to chest, inhale to lift the head back up to center. And then begin to make some arm circles here. So these are areas that often when you've been on the road or in the car, even at a desk, watching TV, any of that jazz, right? These are all things that are going to loosen up this upper area. Lovely, lovely. I can feel the magic working. Beautiful. All right, and then reverse, bring it the other direction. Taking those big nourishing breaths in through the nose and back out through the nose. And then returning back to center and then rolling forward onto hands and knees here. And then toes can either be tucked under or coming onto the tops of the feet. Knees stacked under hips. Nice line there, bone on bone. Hands under shoulders. Always an option to make fists with the hands to take pressure off the wrists. And then bump the hips to the right. Look over the hips to the right. Bump the hips to the left. Look over the hips to the left. And then just we're going side to side here, like a little like pendulum action here. Moving nice and gentle. Taking the time to warm the body up. Conscious movements linked to conscious breath work. And then inhale to bring those hips back to center. Extend the right leg straight out back behind you. Tuck those toes under and rock back and forth, stretching out that leg, out the muscles. Once that leg feels nice and loved on, bring that knee back to center and extend the left leg out, coming to the other side. All right, bringing that knee now back to tabletop, tucking that belly button nice and in. Nice flat back from the tip of the tailbone, extending out tall through the crown. And then bring your hands towards the front edge of your mat. Big deep breath in through the nose, and then exhale. Keep that same length from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head, and then melt the forehead down towards the earth. Opening up those shoulders. An option here to gently rock the forehead side to side. One more big deep breath cycle here. And then inhale, slide the hands back under the shoulders, pressing back up to tabletop position. Bring the left hand right in front of the face here. And then inhale to reach forward and exhale to come back. So making some arm circles here. You could just stay in tabletop, or you can layer on that movement by bringing the hips towards the feet as you reach back. Sorry, my brain's a little fuzzy after being in the car so much. Oh, all good stuff. All part of that landing and coming home process. Which can be, a big thing, whether you've been gone for work for the day or you've been gone for 9 days camping. All right, the next time you come forward, we're going to reverse that of inhale to come back and exhale to come forward, making those circles in the opposite direction now. Knowing that when we switch direction in the breath, like how we're linking the breath to the movement, it wakes up the brain a little bit. Good. Gets the juices flowing, if you will. All right, one more big circle here. And then coming up to center, right hand replaces the left hand, and we do same thing other side. So inhale to reach forward, exhale to come back. Knowing always, these circles can be as big or as small as feels right to you. And then the next time you come forward, we're going to reverse. So inhale to come back, exhale to come forward. One more big breath here. And then exhale, coming back to that tabletop position. Bring the toes together, knees to the width edges of your mat, hands up towards the front edge of the mat, and then exhale to melt it all the way down to a child's pose. Taking a precious pause here. Breathing deep and keeping that connection in through the nose and out through the nose. Option to rock that forehead side to side. Once again, returning to the question, that inward gesture. How are you doing in your practice? What are the shifts and changes that have occurred from being conscious of your breath, conscious of your body, conscious of your movements? Inhale to take one more big breath in here and lifting you all the way back up to that tabletop pose. Inhale to extend the right leg straight out, back and behind. And then exhale, bend the knee, step that foot all the way up and through, placing it between the front hands. And then curl the back toes under. Step the back foot up to meet the front foot and coming into a forward fold. Hands could come to the earth or bend the knees if you want to bring them like palms to the earth, or hands can grab opposite elbows. Oh, it's just all about finding that point of connection that's going to nourish you. Filling your cup, celebrating your body. Oh, shake the head side to side like a no. And then shake the head up and down like a yes. And then inhale. If you're holding onto the elbows, release that clasp, bring the hands to the earth. And then slowly ragdoll yourself up. So imagine like one vertebrae at a time. The head will be the last thing to come up all the way. Pausing here and coming into mountain pose. So for mountain pose, feet are hip width distance apart. That means if you bring your hands into fists, and you can tuck them right in between the arches of your feet. So that might mean that you need to bring the feet a little bit closer or farther apart. Or maybe if you've done this pose about 20,000 times, like I have, you might just be there. You might find your sweet spot, right? That's like the goal. All right. So standing up, slight micro bend in the knee. So that spot right before they lock, thighs active and engaged, pulling towards each other. Abdomen engaged here, turned on. Feel those muscles. Belly button tucks up and in a little bit. That fire there, that source of your energy. And then let that then lift you tall, extending through the crown of the head. Exhale, soften the shoulders. Open up the palms side to side. You can give the fingers a little wiggle here. Like you're like cultivating some good juju, some good car juju, some good road energy here. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Inhale to bring the hands all the way up and overhead here. And then exhale, the hips go one direction, the hands go the other. Nice and gentle here. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, come to the other side. Always an option to have one hand on the hips or both. Remembering it's about listening. Ooh, I just put my hand on my hip and like that popped in my back. So even if like you're like, oh, I could do this pose, right? It's always worth it to just explore and try it a little different. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale on over to that first side. I'm always amazed in my yoga practice how regularly less is more. Inhale to come up to center. Exhale to come to the side. So everything from the waist down is staying the same. It's this like up and over gesture out through the crown of the head that brings that stretch from the hip up the side body, all the way up to that armpit, especially if you've got that arm extended up and overhead. One more time on each side. Inhale to center. Exhale to the side. Inhale to center. Exhale to the side. Inhaling to center, both arms to the sky here. Big beach ball, still keeping that mountain energy and strength there. And then exhale, one arm goes in front of you, one arm goes in back. Turn to look out past that back shoulder. Inhale, both arms up to center. Exhale, twist open on the other side. Now again, just a sweet little variation. You could keep the hands at heart center and keep that same twist and turn. Remembering it's your practice, you get to choose what your truest expression of self is in each passing moment. One more time, even out here. Inhale brings us back to center. Hands come to the shoulders now. And then inhale, open up those elbows. Bring an arch to the spine. Gaze lifts to the sky. Exhale, round the spine. Tuck the belly button up and in. Chin to chest. Elbows touch. Pulling them in towards the belly. Inhale to open. Exhale to round. So those 6 rotations of the spine that we often do together seated. We got our side stretch, got the spinal twist. Well, now we have that cat-cow gesture. Always options, different ways to do these foundational poses. Inhale to roll all the way back up to center now. And then bring the right foot across the left leg here. Okay. And so this can be a bit weebly and wobbly. So if you'd prefer, always know that you can choose to offer yourself a little bit more support with the wall. And then bring the left hand on top, right hand underneath. So if you were choosing the support of a wall, it would look more like this. But this is salutation pose. It's all about balance. And oftentimes when we're on the road and traveling, we've lost our rhythms, our normalcy. This idea of balance can be more difficult to cultivate. So calling in that energy here, breathing deep, gaze straight in front of you for 3 breaths. Option to close your eyes if you'd like to and journey inward. On that next exhale, you can lower the hands, bring them back to the hips. We're going to bring the left leg in front of the right leg now. Right hand comes to the top, left hand comes to the bottom. And returning to that idea of balance. Acknowledging that sometimes we need support on our journey towards finding balance. Big, beautiful breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale, those hands come back to the hips, returning back to that mountain pose, feet hip width distance apart. And then you're gonna make fists with your hands, and this is where it gets fun. You're gonna punch your butt. After you've been in the car all day, your tush could be kind of sore. And so it's literally like you're just pounding on your butt. I like to call it butt pummeling, but you know, whatever you want to call it. You can lean forward a little bit if you'd like. I like to get like sort of like up the sides here, right? Like basically like a butt massage, right? Pro tips over here. It's the real yoga gold. And then once that feels nice and tended to, you can inhale, return back to center. Bring the feet to be shoulder height now. So I don't have like a fancy trick for this, but just if you could imagine that your feet are right under where your shoulders are. Hands come to the hips, and just beginning to make some hip circles. Beautiful. Just like with the arm circles, let's start small and then get a little bigger and a little bigger. Really lean into it if you want. And then reverse, going in the opposite direction, starting big. I'm sorry, that was nose circles, not hip circles. Y'all knew what I meant. Oh, let those circles start to get a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller. Beautiful. Making sure that you're still keeping that lift and length all the way through the crown of the head here. And then hands on the hips. Again, this might be a point where you might want stability of a wall, but inhale, lift the right knee in front of you and begin to make some leg circles. So knee bent, foot nice and active. Big deep breaths here. Maybe I do need the wall. And then reverse, opposite direction. You can see my balance is clearly off after not having been home for 9 days. Oh, all right, let's land that foot down and inhale, lifting that other knee up at a 90-degree angle, foot nice and active, and then starting some circles on the side. So if you're doing this without the support of the wall, make sure you're really, really pressing into the foot. So by that I mean is oftentimes, if you're not really pressing into the earth through that standing foot, the hips will go out to the side. So we want to make sure they're nice and tight and centered there. And the core stays nice and active and engaged. That's where your stability comes from in these standing balancing poses, is from the core. Oh, and then reverse opposite direction. One more circle to even out here. Land that foot back to the ground, returning back to that mountain pose, lifting and lengthening through the crown of the head, reaching towards the heavens. And then inhale, lift the arms straight up in front of you. And then exhale, rotate the palms to face the opposite direction. Swim the hands back and behind, and then either interlace those fingers, or you can hold on to a strap here. If you are interlacing the fingers, put the opposite thumb that you normally do on top. And you'll know you have the right thumb if it feels a little awkward, okay? So then pull those hands back and down, bringing a bit of a back bend here. Keeping that slight micro bend in the knees, gaze lifted up above. Big deep breaths here. Choosing how far you want to go into that back bend. Each exhale, an opportunity if you want to lean back a little more. Shoulders slide closer together on the back body. And big breath in brings you back up to center. And then exhale, forward fold for a modified standing yoga mudra. Feeling the back of the legs open up. Hands lifting up towards the ceiling. Breathing deep. Finding that hinge forward from the hips. Inhale to begin to fire up that belly again, to lift you back up to that standing position. And then releasing the hands, letting them float forward, hand to the belly, hand to the heart. Allow the eyelids to soften or close. And breathe. What is it that you are feeling in this moment when the layers of the world melt away? What is it that your heart has to say to you in this moment? One more big breath in. Exhale nice and slow out of the nose. And then when you're ready, allow those eyelids to flutter back open, returning back to the space. Inhale, arms come out side to side, palms come to touch overhead. The gaze follows, looking up above. And then exhale, swan dive all the way down to the earth, forward fold. Inhale to bring the hands to the knees, nice flat back, halfway lift. Exhale to come back to the toes. Inhale, bend the knees, lift and rise all the way back up. Gaze to the palms, and then exhale to slide it on down to the heart, gaze straight ahead. Modified sun salutation, we're going to do 3 more of those. Inhale to lift, gaze follows. Exhale to dive. Saying hello to your toes if you haven't done that yet today. Inhale, hands to knees, nice flat back. Standing tall, extending out through the crown. Exhale to come back to the toes. Inhale, bend those knees, lift and rise to the sky. And exhale to bring it back to the heart. Always coming back to the heart in your practice. 2 down, 2 to go. Inhale to lift. Exhale to dive. Inhale, hands to knees, nice flat back. Exhale to come down to the toes. Inhale, bend the knees, lift and rise. And exhale to slide it down to the heart. One more time. Inhale to lift. Exhale to dive. Inhale, hands to knees, nice flat back. Exhale down to the toes. And then inhale, lifting all the way back up. And exhale to come back to the heart. Beautiful job. Inhale to lift and rise one more time. And then exhale, dive all the way down to the earth, bringing the palms all the way to the mat this time. Take a step back with the left leg and drop the knee down. Take a step back with the right leg, drop the knee down. This time, knees together, toes together, melting down to your child's pose. Always an option to come to that wide-kneed child's pose as an alternative, and pause for 4 breaths here. Into the nose, and nice and slow back out the nose. Forehead comes to the earth, block or a pillow, finding that connection, finding that grounding through your movements on the mat. Inhale to slowly rise back up to a seated position, and then coming forward onto hands and knees once again. This time extending the right leg straight out, back and behind, and then exhale, bend that knee, step the foot all the way up and through. And just take a moment here to rock, back and forth on that leg. Stretching it out, giving it a little extra love. Finding what's going to feel good in this moment. Inhale to bring that front knee over front ankle. Can be on the top of that back foot, or the toes can be curled under. Yogi's choice, whatever's going to help you feel more stable. Bring that left palm all the way down to the earth. And then inhale to open up that right hand to the sky, or bring that right hand to the right hip. Breathing deep here. Gaze can be right in front of you or up above. Pausing for 2 more deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. On that exhale, float that hand back down to the earth, and then making a conscious choice here. You can stay here in a runner's lunge. If you find that you're rounding the shoulders here, you can try placing a block under the hands to lift the earth to you so that you can maintain that nice flat back from the tip of the tailbone all the way out through the crown of the head. Or inhale, bring the arms back and lift them up towards the sky, opening up that heart space, gaze lifted up above, and pause. Pulling that right hip back into the socket, left hip comes forward, just square those hips towards the front edge of the mat. And breathe. 2 more breaths here. Exhale to float those hands down to the earth if they were lifted. Everyone coming back to this runner's lunge. And then bringing the palms all the way down to the earth. Slide that right leg back to meet the left. And then we're going to pendulum the hips again. So hips to the right, look over that shoulder. Hips to the left, look over that shoulder. Side to side here. One more time on each side. And then returning back to center, back to that tabletop pose, finding that foundational integrity and alignment. And then inhale, the left leg extends straight out, back and behind. And then bend at the knee, step the foot all the way up and through between those hands. And just rocking back and forth on that leg. Nothing super fancy here. Just feeling the feels in your body. Inhale to bring that knee over the front ankle here. Right hand comes to the earth. And then inhale, open up that left arm to the sky, or bend at the elbow, bring it to the hip. Breathing deep here, settling and pulling back. That left hip as the right hip comes forward, just square the hips towards the front end of the mat. Keeping that connection to your breath. One more big breath in, and then exhale to bring that hand down to the earth. Consciously choosing here. Will you be staying in a runner's lunge? If so, do you want some blocks underneath you to help get that length and extension through the crown of the head? Or are you going to inhale, bring the arms back to bring them up to the sky? And then settle into whichever posture you're choosing. for a few deep breaths. One more big breath in, and then exhale to float it on down to the earth. The left foot steps back to meet the right, and then stepping or coming onto the sides of the hips. Go this way. And bringing the feet flat on the earth in front of you, and then gently making your way down to the earth. So feet are going to stay where they are. Take a little moment to wiggle on into the earth. Ooh, that feels good. All right, right leg comes across the left thigh here. And then choosing, so this is option A for our stretch here in this figure 4 pose. Or option B, lift that left foot up off the earth. Both feet are nice and active as though they're pressed flat against a wall. And then option C would then be to interlace those fingers around the back of the left thigh. You can allow the eyes to soften or close here. We're just gonna be here for 4 breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose. One more big breath in here. And exhale to lower that foot back down towards the earth. Unravel, unwind those legs, coming to the other side. Acknowledging that each side may have different needs. So it's always worth exploring, seeing where you're at in this moment to see how far you'd like to go into this posture on this side. Allowing there to be some playfulness and inquiry in your practice, because that is what will keep it constantly evolving and changing and honoring the person that you are today in this moment with this breath. Inhale to take one more big deep breath in through the nose. And exhale to float that right foot back down to the earth. Unravel those legs. Feet are going to stay flat on the earth here. Make sure that your hands can just brush against your heels. So like I can't right now, so I got to scooch them a little bit closer. Perfect. Palms flat on the earth on either side of you. And then inhale, press into the feet, into the palms, into the shoulders. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling and pause. Always an option to place a block or pillows underneath the sits bones here or tailbone to turn this into a restorative posture. Or you can slide one shoulder under the back and then the other, interlace those hands and press into the fists, the arms, the shoulders, the feet, lifting the chest towards the chin towards the sky, and pausing for 3 more breaths here. One more big breath in through the nose. And exhale. If you have those shoulders under the back, you can unclasp the hands, slide them back out and under. If you have a prop underneath you, you can move that out of the way. And then everyone bring the hips back down to the earth. Send the left leg straight out and then hug that right knee in towards the chest, keeping that foot nice and active. And just wiggle that leg side to side. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Listen to that song today in the car. Oh, big deep breath in, and then exhale. Bring that knee all the way to the other side of the body, making sure that the shoulders stay firmly rooted and connected to the earth. So if you come all the way down and the shoulders come up, then just come back, prioritizing those shoulders. Keep everything in alignment. Arms can come straight out side to side at shoulder height in a Texas T, or bend at the elbows, into like some goalpost arms or cactus arms. And then last but not least, turn the gaze to look in the opposite direction of the knee. Breathing deep here. Inhale to take one more big deep breath into the nose. And exhale to unravel, unwind. Switching the legs out here. Hugging that left knee up into the chest. Both feet nice and active. Gently rocking that leg side to side. And then exhale to bring it all the way across the midline here. Choosing what you'd like to do with your arms. And then turning the gaze to look in the opposite direction of the knee. Eyes soften or close. And just be. One more big deep breath in to bring that knee back to center. Sitting both legs out now. Taking the final opportunity to just stretch. It's gonna feel ooey gooey good to you. It's gonna like really seal the deal at the end of your practice. And then settling into your Shavasana here. Legs extended straight out, arms, palms up, V shape at either side of the body. Use your next exhale to soften the muscles of the face, brow line, unhinge the jaw. Relax the tongue in the bottom of the mouth and surrender to your Shavasana. Begin to wiggle the fingers and toes here. And then gently roll onto one side. Curled up in the fetal position, little ball here. Pausing for a breath cycle. Then when you're ready, pressing into the earth and gently making your way towards a comfortable seated position. Using an inhale to bring the hands to heart center. Finding that lift and extension to the crown of the head. Closing our practice with 3 ohms. Taking a big deep breath in. Om. My wish for you on this day and every single day that follows is peace of body, peace of heart, and peace of mind. Namaste, my loves. Be well. Thank you for practicing with me while I worked out some kinks from the road. It was a little weird, but I'm sticking with it. All right. See you next time.